Sinbads in this movie.
Welcome to the Accurate Critics 1994 podcast. I'm professional film critic Sean Patrick. With me is Amy.
Hi.
Amy is trying to find the Facebook page still looking for it. She'll find it eventually.
It's like it just keeps eluding me every time I get on there.
Yeah.
And then I have to type in www.facebook.com / I Hate Critics? Is that it?
1994.
Oh, we have to change it, though.
That's true.
Because it's 1995.
We're not going to, because this is Amy's responsibility.
That's not true. Look,
You'll never get
there's a lot of things about me. A lot of things that people don't know about me.
Really? Name one.
That I am very good at...
Social media?
Social media. Yes.
What's Twitter called now? It's not Twitter anymore.
Is it Twatter? Is it...
It is not Elon Musk's middle name, no. Elon Twatter Musk.
I hate him so much. Who cares what it is? No one uses it, and if they do, that just means that they have the Constitution written on the back of their F-150 or whatever.
I'm on Blue Sky. I love Blue Sky. Blue Sky is my favorite.
Is it your favorite?
Yeah. Who's our podcast sponsor?
Oh, it's the Pontiac Fiero, which is the Sinbad of cars.
Well, you keep bringing up Sinbad. Why do you keep bringing up Sinbad?
Because I will never get this time back.
You mean that hour and 47 minutes?
Houseguest. Houseguest. You know what? I'm saying to myself at first, I'm like, how did this movie not, hit my radar? And now I know why. Because I avoided bad things in 1995. It's the year I graduated.
Yeah.
So I was ready to have
STDs and Sinbad. You avoided both of them.
Both of them. How I did both of those. Just kidding. I didn't lose my virginity until I was 21, you guys. It's fine. I wasn't a little slut. That was a shaming thing to do.
Listen, you fucking whores.
You fucking whores. God, yeah, no.
That's how Amy begins most conversations. Listen, you fucking whores.
God bless. Yeah.
Houseguest is a 1995 film starring comedian Sinbad.
Yeah.
And in his dual identities in the movie. We'll get to that. It's his first starring role in a film.
Yeah.
Playing opposite Phil Hartman as his longtime best friend. The concept for them working together was invented actually on Saturday Night Live, when Sinbad hosted Saturday Night Live in the early 90s. He and Phil Hartman became actually very good friends and felt they had incredible chemistry together, and they thought, we'll take this to the big screen.
Okay, so which was the first mistake then? Was it
Sinbad hosting SNL.
Sinbad hosting SNL. That's... Okay,
That's an episode everybody remembers, is the Sinbad episode of SNL.
That one really stands out to me.
Yeah. Every year I think about that one.
I have no recollection of that.
None.
And you know what an SNL fan I was, especially in junior high and high school.
Mm-hmm.
So for me to not even remember that there was a Sinbad episode...
It's bizarre, right?
Wow. I don't know what to say to that.
Yeah, Sinbad hosted SNL. Him and Phil Hartman had a great time together, and they really wanted to work together. And as Sinbad was being approached with a number of different projects, he wanted to work with Phil, and here we are. We get Houseguest.
This movie was none of our business. I have never felt so much hatred for a film, or a film hating me this much.
So, Sinbad plays a fast-talking con man named Kevin Franklin. Kevin's trying to escape from the mob because he owes them $50,000 for one of his schemes. He's got a scheme. Baseball cards or some bullshit. So his scheme, it falls apart, doesn't make him any money. And he owes the mob $50,000, so he decides to try and fly out of the country, but they catch him at the airport. So he runs away by by doing the same joke at least 15 different times in the same scene about saying he saw a celebrity. Like, he sees a bunch of black girls, so he says he saw Denzel. Then he drops his hamster on the ground and says there's a rat. No, that causes another... Well, and then he'll bring that joke back later because, you haven't laughed at it the first 2 times. But that third time, he's going to get you. Sinbad commits to the bit. He does. But he manages to escape, and he overhears a man named Gary Young, played by Phil Hartman, talking to his kids about how he hasn't seen his best friend from summer camp in 25 years, and he's not even sure if he's going to recognize him. All I know is that he's black, he's about my age, and that's about it.
I think that was one of the first insulting things about this movie too, because immediately there isn't a racist joke in here that
white people can't tell black people apart.
There it is, like immediately. and again,
the premise of this movie.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. If I win, and maybe this is just me, and I'm not an asshole, but I remember people that I hung out with or knew when I was in grade school. I could tell you what they look like today, even if I'm not friends with them on Facebook.
Well, and he's been in contact with him enough to invite him to stay at his home, and he's got to have talked to him. It's not like they're exchanging emails.
Yeah, but
right.
Well, maybe.
So they've been talking on the phone, and he doesn't have that guy who is played by one of the guys from Serenity, Ron Glass. That guy's got a super posh accent, and he's just he knows everything about the guy, like his dietary restrictions. He's a vegetarian.
Right.
He knows that about him. He knows that he's a world famous dentist. He knows all these things about him, but he couldn't pick him out of a lineup.
That's so insulting. I think that's gross.
Yeah. But then everybody knows the name, Kevin. They know the name of this guy. What was his name?
The
guy he's impersonating. Who was that?
That was... Wait for it.
I can't remember.
Derek Bond.
Derek Bond.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Derek Bond's name, but nobody knows what he looks like.
Yeah. Everybody knows he's a big DDS.
Yeah.
That's a
dentist. He publishes papers.
Yeah.
The man loves himself so much that he actually has collections of clippings made. So anytime he appears in the newspaper, they send him clippings of him. Which is how he finds out the scheme that's going on.
Yeah.
Even though it should have been pretty obvious when Sinbad ran up to him in the airport and said, hey, your friend doesn't want you here, and he doesn't want you to do the thing that you have to do today.
Yeah, the thing.
What about the thing, though? Mm-hmm. Don't worry, you can't do the thing. Everybody's sick. Go home. Nobody wants you.
The thing.
So he leaves, and Sinbad ends up doing the thing, which is presenting his career, that he doesn't know what that career is, at career day at the kids' school, Phil Hartman's kids' school, and he just shows a bunch of really gross, he shows a bunch of really gross slides for some reason, and what were those mouths? We couldn't even, he's a dentist, so those should have been mouths, right? They didn't look like mouths to me. I've seen a mouth before. I've seen teeth before. If a dentist is going to present, he's probably going to talk about teeth.
Right.
Where were the teeth in those pictures?
No, because it looked to us like just really gross.
Well, everybody was reacting. We could hardly see them, and everybody's just reacting. What are you okay? Canker sores?
It's like that Christmas movie that Drew watched where they light up the lights on the front of the house, and Drew keeps going, "Can we see?" And it's just that's what this felt like. Like all of a sudden, what we were supposed to see was blocked out.
Yeah.
It was really weird. So then we still didn't know what he did for a living.
Right. Yeah, we're still in the dark with him, because he's our protagonist. We're following him along. Going back to the racism for a moment, though, it's just so ironic. I was watching Jarvis Johnson and Jordan Attica talking about the most racist song, Asian Girls.
Yeah.
And this movie does remind me of a quote that's on the Asian Girls. The video itself, somebody commenting on it. So I don't know the commenter's name. I can't give them credit for this, but this is not my joke. But they said of that song, it's as if a song shat out another song, and that song wrote a song. And that's kind of Houseguest in a nutshell.
That is.
It's like a movie shat another movie, and that shit wrote a movie.
Well, if we're talking in shit terms, this film was diarrhea, because The editing in this fucking movie.
What the fuck, dude?
We both had whiplash from these very short editing cuts, and then they would do those little speed up the
those Benny Hill cuts.
Yes,
we
were waiting for yakety sax throughout the entire
everybody's
thing.
running in fast motion.
It was so weird, and then the ADR, these little things that they were coming in and saying, either obviously after the fact, and then people talking over each other, and that's what I said. It's oh, want to get that again? I think we screwed that up.
No, it's good. We're gonna hold on. Next thing.
Cut. Print. Let's move on. It just was so
asinine.
Oh my god.
Asinine's a pretty good word for that.
Asinine. Well, yeah, because the doctor actually even uses that. This is asinine. Yeah, you're not kidding. The whole fucking premise. And then
Eric A. Sears, by the way, is the editor of this film. Eric, what the fuck, man? Were you a professional editor when you did this?
I think of Crow T. Robot on Mystery Science Theater, and he says, well, the editor was a spaz, because that's exactly what this was.
This man has won 2 Primetime Emmys. 2!
For what?
I don't know.
I implore you to find a different profession, because you are terrible at what you do for a living. I don't know how.
But he did the same thing to the movies Shooter, starring Mark Wahlberg, and Cellular, starring Kim Basinger. So yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. This is not an action movie, though, Eric. It's not. It's a comedy. I think they thought maybe if we just edit it really fast, it'll seem like it's fast, even though we're going to leave in every fucking improv that Sinbad does.
Obviously. Every
improv. He does an improv on the initials on a jacket for an eternity. He's so conveniently he's stolen luggage to because he's pretending to be a guy who just got off a plane, and he steals this luggage, and it turns out to be the luggage of a dead guy, or at least that's what he assumes, because funeral homes, they tend to just put their own initials on the suit that they bury people in.
I thought about that, and
that's a typical thing they do.
Could you they'd be fun? I hate to say this, but I'm thinking of Mom. It's they put you in the funeral home sweatshirt, like it's a college sweatshirt. Thanks for choosing us. You could have chosen any other funeral home, but you chose GBH. Thank you. Thank you.
And I mean, that's the thing is, you have to be, like an alien from another planet to come up with the gags that he keeps coming up with in order to try and prolong this idiot plot.
Yeah.
But everybody just believes this guy immediately. Nobody questions him. And you would think this would be, a polite thing. Maybe that's the joke. All these white people are being very, very polite because they're talking to a black guy. It's really left-wing people trying to be super nice to a black guy because they want a black guy to like them.
I have a black friend. Always those people.
At the very least, that would be tension, though.
Yeah.
At the very least, that would provide some tension, but that's not what's happening in this movie.
It's not,
because Sinbad actually made it specifically that way. So Sinbad, this movie was apparently, when it was first written, it had a very dark sense of humor. It was a very kind of an R-rated comedy.
That probably would have been fun.
He wanted it to be so that kids could watch it. So he took out a lot of the dark humor and improv'd all over the place.
When you say improv'd, did you mean vomited? I don't know.
So he just, that's what he did. He took out all the potentially dark humor and just made it his, because he didn't want to make another movie about a black guy who humiliates white people. Okay,
fine, but I'm sorry, that just makes you the Will Smith of comedy, then. Doesn't it?
I mean, the Fresh Prince and Sinbad. I mean. Although Sinbad isn't getting out there and slapping anybody.
That's true.
Yeah. So Will wins. That's what I'm saying.
Will wins because he slaps people.
In a tough guy contest.
Oh,
if we're going to talk about who's tough, Will did slap somebody.
How old is Sinbad now? Because I was saying this during the movie. I swear to God, he's been 40 years old the entire time we've known who he is. Since the beginning.
I think he's 67, I believe.
Wow.
You haven't heard from Sinbad in a while.
Thanks.
Not since like 2020 have people really heard much from Sinbad. He's not been working.
Right.
Because he had a stroke.
Oh.
So he went from 2020 to 2024 and nobody knew what happened to Sinbad. He was just gone from the public eye. And people were like, hey, anybody remember Sinbad? Whatever happened to Sinbad?
Like, he was kind of a thing.
And then in 2024, he posted on Instagram and just kind of dropped the bomb that, yeah, I had a stroke like 4 years ago. That's why no one's heard of me.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, obviously I have to go to his Instagram now.
Yeah, that was last year when he was last posted in 2024. I don't know if he's been posting regularly since then.
There's a whole video of him talking about it, too.
Oh, wow.
Oh. Okay.
Does he still have those clothes? His old stand-up clothes were like Cosby. Like, he had his own version of Cosby sweaters and Cosby, like that multicolored 90s look.
Well, the cross colors look, the color blocking.
The blue pants and, like yellow, then orange, then green, and but in, like, blocks at different sizes.
Right. And when... like, he, in sweatshirts, he would always don a windbreaker, maybe, occasionally.
Yeah.
But yeah, wow.
Sinbad, for those who don't know, is a very successful stand-up comedian. He was very popular. He had HBO specials. He won Star Search 7 times.
Yeah.
He was a big deal in the 80s and early 90s. He got a sitcom.
Yep.
But you know what never happens is other comedians talking about Sinbad. Like, never happens.
They don't revere him.
Yeah. He is not a figure that anybody goes, you know what was great? Sinbad.
Okay, but here's the thing. It's pretty sad when you can kind of deduce one's entire comedy oeuvre with women be different than men. Because, like, that's his whole that was always his thing.
Women be
different than man.
Like, a man wants to sit on the couch and put his hand in his pants, and a woman wants to go shopping.
You did a Cosby right there. You had a vaguely...
your drink is fine. You're my... I didn't touch your drink.
You know what? Whenever Cosby comes around, that's what I put... I get out the Stanley Cup. Because I don't trust you.
Yeah.
Now, Sinbad... I would have no problem drinking a drink around, because I don't think he would harm
There was
me.
this thing, like, it was in the early 2000s when they were talking about, women getting like, drugs in their drinks, and, like, I can't remember who it was. It was, like, maybe it was Janine Garofalo was talking about how there were women who were showing up at clubs with, like, these stills and bottles, and like they get their drink and then they just put a little piece of it in this thing and then they test it and they swirl it around. Yep. Got fucking beakers and shit.
We shouldn't have had to do that.
No.
I don't know. I feel like sometimes men don't want us to be safe. Sometimes white men don't like us. That's how that feels.
I was listening to this woman on Instagram the other day talking about why she respected mothers from Staten Island. She was going about Staten Island, New York, and talking about how she respected the mothers there so much because one of their sons were to like do harm to a woman. They don't go to the woman and say, "Hey, this was your fault." They grab their sons and go, "If you ever make a woman this uncomfortable, I'm going to kill you."
Yeah.
And that's what needs to happen. Like, I was watching this shitty YouTube channel. I can't remember what it's called. But, like, they were talking about... It was, like, all these, like, people robbing other people and catching it on camera. Because that's just shit just kind of fascinates me.
Yeah.
But, like, every time they were blaming the victims, like, maybe next time they should pay more attention to their surroundings. Like, no, maybe next time that guy shouldn't fucking rob me.
Maybe.
I mean, just, maybe we don't blame the victims who are just walking down a fucking street.
Maybe.
At the very least, I don't think Sinbad was drugging people.
No. Actually, it seems, the more I read about him, he was a pretty upright dude. You know what I mean?
So...
inoffensive.
He did not write this movie, but this movie was strangely perfect for Sinbad. because he has, and I get, this was all part of the build-up for this movie. When Buena Vista sent him out to promote the film, he was telling like these genuine stories about himself from his time. He got out of the Marines in 1982 and went immediately into stand-up comedy and began performing in clubs. And one of the things that Sinbad would do is at the end of the night, he would be like talking, he would hope to see like people standing around, like waiting to see him afterwards, and go, "Hey man, listen, can I stay at your couch?" And he became, by his own admission, the best house guest that anyone could ever have. If he stayed at your house, Sinbad would clean, he would fix things that were broken. Everybody.
So did he write the real book about how to be a good house guest?
That's actually the end of the movie. Yeah, the end of the movie is him becoming a best-selling author of how to be a great house guest. But he actually, in real life, he would get random strangers to bring him home and let him sleep on their couches while he performed in clubs in their town.
Wow.
Yeah. And, like, literally anybody who ever had Sinbad stay with him said he was fantastic. Like,
again, I think that's, like, he does not offend people. You know what I mean?
And that's part of the problem.
That's part of the problem. You know, again, it's like, what is the word? What is the word? Oh, I can't think. Thinking about, like, this movie. Oh, it just, is inane the right word? Because that's what this felt like.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I feel this is very touchy subject matter that maybe two white people should not be getting into.
Probably.
But at the same time, like, there was one of the kings of Germany would keep one Jew in the he would have his Jewish guy that he always kept, whether it was like a famous composer or something or a famous writer. He would just keep them to have just one Jew, and then everybody else go fuck themselves.
What?
This is a real story. And that's kind of like what, and I don't want to say tokenism, but like Sinbad had a way of being that person who didn't make you uncomfortable. Not that black people make me uncomfortable, they don't, but I'm saying like he would do something in a way that were like really racist people would go, "I like Sinbad though."
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna try and stop black people from, excelling in the world, but Sinbad, I kind of like him. He's one of the good ones. Wow. Yeah. But that's the thing, though. He bought into that, and that's what makes people not like Sinbad, is that he kind of seemed like that was a lane that he was kind of comfortable in.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of black comedians didn't kind of resented him a little bit, because he was that guy who, could make a racist white audience feel comfortable.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
We don't deserve that. Well, that's the thing. It's like, oh, you like Sinbad? So do the white people, you know? Well, can we talk about a white person real quick? Phil Hartman gave one of the worst performances in the world in this movie. And
Phil Hartman is a comic genius.
Comic
and if
genius.
You're able to reduce him to this,
yeah.
How terrible is Randall Miller as a director?
Oh my God.
You must be a monster, sir. That you could reduce a genius like Phil Hartman to this.
Yeah. It's almost like he's doing like sketch acting.
Yeah.
But then he plays this. This is one of those movies that if you change the music underneath it, in some of Hartman's deliveries, you're positive he's going to kill someone in this movie. Because it's the smile, it's the gritted teeth, it's the way that he delivers. And I don't know, like maybe he thought he was playing it that way because I don't know why that was a choice.
Yeah.
And every time he delivered a line, it felt like, and sorry to say this, but it felt like it was just kind of dead behind the eyes, just, put a quarter in his butt. He'll do this, that's what...
I wonder if Phil was like, "Don't worry, we'll do another take of this and I'll be more comfortable."
But that never...
Cut, print.
It never happened.
But we need a... No? Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm going to just gonna get this over with. Just try and get this over with.
Dumber than a box of hammers. The entire family, the Young family.
Phil makes no impression in this movie.
Not
he has
at all.
like no, he does not take up any space in your mind.
Nope.
The character leaves the room and he just disappears. You're not concerned, thinking about him. And if you've seen Phil Hartman on The Simpsons, you just know, like, this guy, there's nothing he can't do. But I don't think he was ever comfortable in movies. I don't think he was ever comfortable playing one character for a long period of time.
Right. And it shows. Like, you know.
I mean, when you look at it, I mean, like, Jingle All the Way,
Yeah.
he's playing, like, I get, the character is supposed to be insufferable.
Yeah.
And it's so he can play into, like, being insufferable in that movie. He's supposed to be likable here, and he doesn't do likable in that way.
Well, here's the thing about him, though, too. And again, we love him. We absolutely adore this man. He is not a star of a film. He's not a lead. He is there to add something to a movie. I think of, like, even like Cabin Boy. You know what I mean? Like, just these dumb little things that he would do that would show up because he's Phil Hartman.
Yeah.
And we want Phil Hartman when we get Phil Hartman. This is him playing a guy named Gary from New England. And all I'm getting is a guy named Gary from New England who is probably going to lose his mind and shoot up a McDonald's. Speaking of McDonald's,
Oh my god.
I know it's not falling down, but you need to tell me about this whole McDonald's thing because it was mentioned constantly in this fucking movie.
McDonald's is like the third lead in this movie for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why that is, but McDonald's has like the third lead in this film. McDonald's gets dropped into this movie so regularly that you're like, I wonder how much McDonald's paid to be part of the movie Houseguest. And the answer is nothing. McDonald's paid nothing to be in this movie.
Unbelievable.
They just wrote it in. But the wildest story about this movie, the absolute peak wild thing about this movie, is that there is a McDonald's location in this tiny town in Pennsylvania that does not exist and has never existed.
What?
That McDonald's never existed. This company who made this movie, Buena Vista, gave them money to build, to rent a storefront in this tiny town of Sewickyville, Pennsylvania, to build a working McDonald's. Mimic the interior, the menus, the outside is. I mean, you never see a McDonald's in a storefront. That's not a thing. McDonald's doesn't do storefronts.
They don't?
Yeah, have you ever seen a McDonald's in a storefront? They're always standalone.
Well, I suppose they are. Well, I guess, no, but if you think about it, like Chicago and New York, they would be storefront, though.
But, like, this does not happen in this small town, small suburban town.
Oh, okay, you're right. Like, it wouldn't be in a storefront in that kind of, because it's a very small, okay, you're right, it would be standalone.
So,
wow.
They rented a storefront, built an entire McDonald's, built a storefront for this McDonald's, and used it one time for, like, less than 2 minutes.
I'm sorry, I gotta check the budget on this film. Are you fucking serious?
I swear to God, this actually happened. This is a real thing that they did.
But why?
I don't know.
Like, they you know what was weird was that they used the, at the time, was it, have you had your break today? Was that?
Yeah, they used the actual, like, McDonald's jingle. Yeah.
And, you know, McDonald's, like, they would go in, and they still do it to this day, but it's still that ba-da-ba-ba-ba, but that's, like, from the early 2000s. But this, like, we remember this from the 90s, and they used it several times, like, Sinbad slow motion running to McDonald's, and they're playing that over it, and then they even take it and use a little stinger of it at the end. Like, it was just weird. And you would think that when the movie came out, McDonald's would have a special meal deal, you know, nothing. Totally unaffiliated. Like, this was a choice. The people saying, you know what I really love? McDonald's. And I'm gonna, you know what? Houseguest is a love letter to McDonald's. Somebody finally did it.
They just kept throwing that in for
absolutely no fucking reason.
No reason.
Nope.
There's just no reason for it. There's no purpose to it. McDonald's has nothing to do with the movie.
No. McDonald's disowns Houseguest. Completely disavows this film.
how did anyone just like I don't understand you, Houseguest.
Well, I mean, that's like, I actually thought I was going to start crying. Because this movie is so fucking long, and the bits, like, what they think are comedy, are just extraneous. And then they don't know how to edit. They don't know how to remove things that we don't have to see. This is almost a 2-hour-long film. For what? You know? And then, again, it's like... The weird, like, is the editor actually going, I'm going to speed up a couple of these scenes because I actually hate this movie and I just want it to be over faster, but yet he added more to it. Like,
you got to leave in all that, that gold that Sinbad was weaving, all that precious gold that Sinbad put into this movie.
I'm going to let you believe that.
So... I asked ChatGPT a question about Houseguest, and this is what ChatGPT said about the relationship between Houseguest, the movie we watched this week, and McDonald's.
Right.
McDonald's plays a prominent role in the 1995 comedy Houseguest because of a product placement deal. Not true. ChatGPT is wrong. There was no deal. Sinbad. Sorry. Product placement strategy. The 1990s saw a rise in brand integration in movies, and McDonald's was one of the most recognizable brands in the world. The company often used these partnerships to reinforce their family-friendly image.
Oh my God, stop it.
By prominently featuring McDonald's, the film benefited from financial support and cross-promotional... No, they did not. This was not affiliated with McDonald's. It fit with the story. Kevin Franklin, a fast-talking con artist, poses as an old friend of Gary Young to escape from mobsters. In one humorous sequence, Kevin dazzles the Young family at McDonald's by ordering an elaborate meal and jokingly impersonating the food chain's familiarity with families. No, that scene is not in this movie.
I don't remember that scene at all.
ChatGPT is just making shit up about this fucking movie.
ChatGPT is just magic. Just absolute magic.
The setting in the humor, the setting and humor tie-in to the film's tone makes McDonald's scene feel less overt and more like part of the fun. Oh, ChatGPT.
ChatGPT.
What even are you? What even are you? Wow. Just factually incorrect, inventing scenes that aren't even in the movie, and then working very hard to justify this awful use of McDonald's product placement.
What are you like, ChatGPT? What are you like? Wow.
That's great.
That's up there.
That is just the perfect... Like, you cannot distill the shittiness of ChatGPT better than that. That is the perfect approximation. Just making shit up, fucking lying to you directly.
Can you ask it to make up a story about me and Robert Sheehan and just see what it says? I just want to know. I just want to know.
I actually already did that with you and Sinbad. And
that's not fair.
You don't want to read that.
Is that fan fiction? Somebody had to write it about me and Sinbad. Remember that fan fiction about you and Sinbad? I do.
You walking around in one of Sinbad's shirts, but it looks like you're wearing a fucking robe.
Yes! That's hot. And Sinbad's like, I'm going to need my shirt back. And I'll be like, but I didn't bring any clothes. Oh, no. And his shirt drops to the floor. God. Are we recording?
Yes.
Oh, God. I thought you were still working on your computer.
Oh, no. This is in the show.
No one is going to be able to get me and Sinbad out of their heads now.
Yeah, there you go, folks.
God damn it.
Start writing your own Amy and Sinbad fanfiction.
Please submit it to red77@gmail.com. I'd love to read it. I'd love to read your Sinbad.
And then Gary Oldman.
Yeah,
with dirty dreadlocks.
Only Gary Oldman from True Romance. I don't want him.
Dirty dreadlocks and a grill walks in, and him and Sinbad go to town.
Wait, how come Sinbad gets to fuck him? I don't? That's not how that works. I guess I have to write my own fan fiction.
Amy makes them sandwiches. So I don't even get to watch?
I don't even get to watch.
The rest of the story is you watching Drew Gooden videos while
I would, too.
While Sinbad and Gary Oldman get
it
down.
on. Yeah, I'd be like, nope, you guys just let me know when you're done. I'm going to watch Drew's Christmas movies all over again.
I'm just gonna drape myself in several of Sinbad's shirts. Like blankets.
But they're all like, they have to be like the silk shirts from the early 90s. And yeah.
They fit you like a comforter.
Oh, God. It just make me all sweaty. This is why I sleep with air conditioning every night. Because of Sinbad. Unbelievable.
Sinbad could pick you up and put you in his pocket.
Oh, could he though?
He's a big dude.
He is a big dude. Was it 6'5"?
Yeah.
Why is he so tall?
I don't know, but he's tall so he can play basketball.
That's true.
That's
they
how
play
that
basketball
works.
in the movie.
If you're tall, you play basketball. That's
tall and black, even better.
Oh my! And then
true.
we're back into that dicey territory again.
Well, let's face it. Then we've got
Sinbad actually did play basketball.
He actually did. No, but the racism in this movie, and like I get it. I said,
yeah.
I know. I mean, just saying that, like the racism, I get it. That's not what I meant. What I'm talking about is what's his name? Fucking
the old guy.
Mason
character?
Adams, who played Mr. Pike, and he's such like you just want to kick him in his fucking face. This guy's a character actor. He's been in a ton of shit.
At the same time, though, and yes, he's nailing the old man racism. But
yep.
At the same time, though, Sinbad, his character Kevin, has been benefiting from this behavior throughout this movie. Like white people just being openly weird and awkward around him, and he's like just benefited from that. And now this guy comes along. He's like the first like blatantly racist.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I was all offended now. Like, where was this before? Where was this before? Sinbad, you were playing into this bullshit earlier.
Well, that's like I was saying though to you too. There's so much in this movie that was unearned.
Yeah.
So much of this movie was like, especially like in that last 3 hours of the film. You know what? This might be fighting Remains of the Day for one of the longest movies we've watched.
So long.
Remains of the Day just rolled credits in my room. And it's been playing for 2 years. And now Houseguest will play for the next couple of years. Jesus Christ. What a way to kick off 95.
Oh, God.
With like I wanted to see Phil. You have to remember, so this was 95. 3 years later, Phil would be killed. And I hate it.
And I mentioned before that like he's not comfortable playing the same character. He did do a very good television show and news radio, and he played and he earned accolades for that performance.
Oh,
but the thing is that
so
that
good.
character he played on news radio is good in spurts. You couldn't build an entire plot around him. You had to build a plot around, the other characters, and then he came in and said something funny and was gone.
He's
that's
such a prick in that show.
But that's how that worked. That was the best way to use him. Just like what the Simpsons did.
Right.
You couldn't do an entire Troy McClure show that would get tiresome.
Right.
Or even Lionel Hutz. You couldn't do an entire Lionel Hutz like series. But when Lionel Hutz comes in and does his thing, Lionel Hutz is fantastic, and then you get him out. You do the jokes and you do the bit and you get out. Him trying to do this character, which he is not doing any of the improving. He's not doing any of the any of that
there's
shit.
No riff with him.
Yeah, there's no riffing from him. There's so much stupid riffing from Sinbad.
So much.
So there's a terrible story I have to tell.
Oh, am I going to be sad?
This one it's not sad. Well, maybe it's not sad. I'm not sure if it's sad or not. She seems like she's recovered from this very well, even though she did quit Hollywood immediately after the movie. She did not act again after this film.
Oh, God.
Talia Sider, who played the youngest daughter of Phil Hartman. She was... so Sinbad's there, he's doing his Sinbad thing, he's riffing, he's coming... And this poor girl, wanting so badly to be so good in her very first movie, she had memorized the script and really worked hard on getting the beat of the script. And she went to the director, Randall Miller, and she said, Could you ask Sinbad to just maybe stay closer to the script so I don't get lost? And Sinbad was like, nope.
Oh, Talia.
Yeah. So she didn't act after. She gave up acting after this.
Somebody needs to tell her not everyone's gonna riff, though, baby. Some people actually care about the script.
Yeah, I mean, would you care about this script, though?
No.
Unless you were 7.
Oh, that hurts. That makes me sad for her.
Yeah, but she's gone on to be incredibly successful. She's a psychiatrist and a psychologist. She's very well read. She's got a lot of academic credibility. She just got out of the acting business.
Aww, well, good for her.
Yeah,
I think she's probably the only person who could say Sinbad ruined my career.
Yeah, she's the only one.
She's the only
Phil
one.
Hartman couldn't say that.
No, oh no.
Yeah, this movie is fucking cursed, by the way.
You were going to say that.
So Sinbad had sad for him, he had a stroke a few years ago.
Yeah.
Obviously, Phil Hartman was murdered. Kim Grice's career is over. No. She actually good for her. She hit 2002 and she's like, I got it. I'm done. I'm out. She just stopped working. She lives in Stamford, Connecticut now. She has no presence on social media. She's just doing her own thing. Good for her.
Good for her.
She was in Brazil.
Yeah.
She was in Manhunter. She's got those things to look back on and be proud of.
Yeah, she'd never say she was in Houseguest. Like, no one wants that. But she, again...
The old and the son is fine. He did well for himself. Chauncey.
Oh, Chauncey Leopardi, yeah.
He was Squints in Sandlot. He's taken that to every convention they could ever possibly go to, and just has a nice sideline. He's still acting.
I never watched that movie. Like, for me, he's Alan from Freaks and Geeks. He's the bully.
I'm one of those people who doesn't like Sandlot, but I know it has like a big cult following. People love
weird.
Sandlot.
Yeah.
Sure. Squints is doing great. Good for him. The sad story is the oldest daughter. Yeah. Played by Kim Murphy, who is also on 24. In 2018, she killed herself.
What?
Don't know why. Nobody really knows exactly what happened, but in October of 2018, she took her own life.
Oh my god. Well, yeah.
So that's sad.
But you just brought the whole thing down with that.
Oh, you're welcome, everybody. Have a fun podcast, everyone.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And she was very talented. Actually, like, I was blown away a few times. Like, even there's a scene in her bedroom. And
we should set this up first. Let me just set it up for you. You can talk about it. But
thank you.
Like, yeah, you got my permission to talk. No,
Women.
But like, the movie is like doing all this like bullshit about his identity, and like he's having to. He keeps getting put in situations where he's got to riff his way out of it, like he's supposed to be a wine expert and all this. But the plot of the actual film, which we don't get to until over an hour into this fucking movie, is that he decides that he's going to save the family. He's going to save the marriage. He's going to fix their children and make them better. He helps the son learn how to play basketball. He watches cartoons with the littlest kid. All of this is happening in like the final 30 minutes of the movie, which is, this is what the movie allegedly is supposed to be about. If you read the plot description, this is what the movie is supposed to be about, is him fixing this family. God. So the scene you're like, all he knows about the daughter is that she's got like shitty boyfriend who's like a white guy who tries to talk black.
Steve, no, ST3.
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 Fucking God. He's got it shaved in the back of his head. I'm not joking.
No, he really does.
That really happens in this movie.
Exactly.
That guy's still alive, still working, by the way. He's a director now.
Okay.
I've never seen anything he's done, but you know, he's still out there. He's still hustling. Good for him. He probably wants us to forget that he was in this movie.
That's fine.
No, but that's all really Sinbad knows about her, other than she's goth. She has a goth aesthetic, even though there's nothing else goth about her.
Nothing else goth about her.
Take it away.
No, well, so, and he comes in and he's consoling her because she's going through it.
30 minutes left in the movie, though.
Right. So now she's talking about her mom doesn't try to understand her. Again, their mom, I don't know what device she was even serving in this film at all. Like, she's so immemorable.
Walks into the scene, but the editing, like any scene that she's in, the editing suddenly goes crazy. We got to edit around Kim apparently, because when Kim Grice walks into a scene, the camera is just shooting everywhere, and like the editing turns to pure chaos, and she's not doing anything.
Right.
She brought laundry into the kitchen to check on the food and meet Kevin, and she's on the phone. So she's doing a lot of things, I guess, but like she's not moving at a quick pace. She's not like evincing any kind of anxiety whatsoever. She's just playing the scene. But the editing decides like, here, cut, and she's gone. Okay, good. Next, keep it moving. The speed with which anytime she's on screen, and she's not doing anything.
Right.
She owns like a yogurt company that's gonna like
Emily's Yogurt Madness. I'll never forget that.
The biggest franchise yogurt in America.
I mean, obviously.
It's
no TCBY, but it's up.
it's what TCBI wishes they could be.
They wish they were Emily's Yogurt Madness.
You could start from a storefront in a small town in Pennsylvania.
Well, beyond that, like, look, I'm telling you right now, you need to put frozen yogurt in the title, because otherwise I'm just going to think that you're just going to be feeding me yogurt when I go in there. And I don't want just yogurt. I want froyo. And froyo was a big thing in the 90s. Anyway,
so yeah, the editing apparently is actually more responsible for her not spending any time with her kids.
Well, clearly.
Which there's a scene, they're in bed, Phil Hartman and Kim Grice are in bed talking about stuff, and he's like, you need to spend more time with the kids, and she's just typing away on her computer and not paying any attention to him, and she's like, Kevin knows who he is. And Phil's like, what? Yeah, Kevin, he knows who he is. Does that imply that I don't know who I am?
Oh, yeah.
And this scene goes on for a fucking eternity with absolutely no punchline.
Yeah.
But I guess we need this information that mom's not paying attention to the kids enough. Even though that, again, never comes up again. It is barely established, and then it becomes the driving part of this young girl's subplot that is resolved simply by Sinbad talking to her about boys.
That's it. But she does such a great job in the movie, though.
It's a well-acted scene. She's got tears.
Yeah, like, she looks... Like, I watched her cry in that scene, and I'm like, I remember being that age and crying at everything, too. It's just what I did.
Yeah.
I still do that now.
She's got dark clothes, and she's got...
She's wearing a Smiths t-shirt. I was like, fuck yeah.
Oh.
Fuck yeah.
No, you're not allowed to put the Smiths in this movie. No.
They did, too. It was awkward. But again, I mean,
but then when she's in her room listening to music, she's listening to the most generic, like, 93.
Actually, that was a really good song.
Was it? They didn't play a lot of it. It came off very generic.
It was very...
The moment that it was on screen. There's some music cues in this movie that just blow your mind.
No, the fucking weird ass la 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 that goes on throughout it. It was so oh my god, it was so upsetting.
It's like a Stepford Wives thriller in the
Yeah.
suburbs.
Again, if you change
but this
the
is a
tone of
wacky
the
con
film,
man comedy.
well, and then you got the fucking weird ass Christmas music at the end. Like, what the fuck?
They sing the ending of this movie. I kid you not, folks. Is Phil Hartman and Sinbad riffing out lyrics to Christmas songs, but replacing the Christmas elements with meat.
Yeah.
Meat products, meat things. Burgers, fries, hot dogs, and it's obviously it's a Christmas movie. Apparently,
yeah.
It came out January of 1995.
Wow.
Highly successful.
Ha in the House.
What's ha in the House?
Randall Miller, along with Mike Watts and Jody Savin, wrote those little Ha in the House, Whoa Whoa Hey, Christmas Burger Medley, and the Pennsylvania Lottery song. So our director wrote all those. Fascinating.
It's coming to you.
Come here, Pookie Bear. Hi, Butcher.
They wrote those songs. They get to own that fact for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. Imagine that.
Imagine like John Lennon.
Well, speaking of that, did you even hear...
Similarly,
Did you hear the Beatles' Michelle in this movie?
No.
That's
Wait,
credited
what?
in there.
What?
Yeah.
Where was that?
I don't know. because I don't remember hearing it at all.
Of all the things that they chose to spend money on for this movie, did they we need to spend the entire budget? They've given us this full $10 million. We've given $1 million of it to Sinbad. We need to spend the rest of this $9 million. So, let's see, $2 million for this Beatles song that we barely use, that no one even knows it's there, and we'll build an entire McDonald's.
I mean,
but what you don't do is put any money into the script. Just don't spend any money on the script or making the thing funny.
We've got Sinbad. He's comedy gold. Women be different than men.
Sinbad, you know the reason that anyone like MJ's age might know who Sinbad is? There's only one reason anyone knows today who Sinbad is. Kazam. He's not in Kazam. Sinbad is not in Kazam. That's Shaquille O'Neal. It's in just... There is this... what do you call it? Mandela Effect. So there are a large group of people online believe that in the 1990s they saw a movie called Shazam starring Sinbad as a genie. And Sinbad has never played a genie in a movie and has never starred in a film called Shazam. But there are people have mocked up covers of this movie to show people no, this is real. Shazam with Sinbad is a real movie. I saw it when I was a kid.
I need to see this.
I'll bring it up here.
Wow.
Yeah. So I gotta bring this up for Amy to show her. This is the only reason anyone remembers who Sinbad is today. Sinbad's Shazam.
That's not a thing.
It's not real.
Because you know how I know? I remember that because I was working at Disc Jockey and we sold the Shaquille O'Neal movie. So I was very familiar with that. Wow.
So apparently, this is supposed to be a still from the movie Shazam. This is actually a still from a College Humor video from 2002. He appeared in he played a kind of a genie in a something for College Humor back in 2002.
When College Humor was a big thing.
Yeah. So people took this and then racistly transplanted Sinbad in place of Shaquille O'Neal and Kazam and invented a memory of a movie called Shazam starring Sinbad.
I'm just... I already thought people were stupid. This just proves it.
Well, Amy, which one was it? Berenstein or Berenstain Bears?
I know it's Berenstein, but we always called it Berenstain. And I don't know why. Berenstein. Were we afraid that they were a Jewish family? We're like, no, we're going to get that Stein or Steen off of there. We'll say Stain instead.
So that's a real Mandela effect that people have.
That's
is that people
weird.
believe that that there are different covers and we switched time frames, and so people in one time frame get Berenstain and everybody else gets Berenstein.
That's oddly enough part of the plot of season 4 of Umbrella Academy. And that's why it sucked, folks.
Are you not familiar with the Mandela Effect?
I don't know much about it, no.
There's people who remember lines from movies like Forrest Gump never said life is like a box of chocolate.
But he did.
He said something very similar.
He said, Mama always said life was like a box of
Life
chocolates.
is like a box of chocolates, or life was like. Some people heard was, some people heard is. And then the timeline shifted. And now some of us get is, and some of us got was.
That's weird.
No, idiot, you just didn't hear it correctly. You fucking moron. The Mandela Effect is not a real thing.
Well, okay, is it, maybe this might be, so I had a shirt.
Right.
By the brand Forenza in 1989, 1990. It was one of my favorite shirts of all time. Blue, flowers, blah, 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 blah. So I go to look it up because there was a period of time there where I was, buying my old Swatch watches and stuff like that. Just nostalgia. And, a complete waste of money. And so I go to look up this shirt, I can still describe it, I can still see it in my head, and the only shirt that I found, yes, was like that, but it was nothing like what I remembered in my head. It was completely different, but the only shirt that had those colors in that year with that brand. Is that kind of like that?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
That's a similar idea. So it's born of a thing. I can't believe in the year of our Lord 2025 I'm explaining what the Mandela Effect is to a person who has been alive all this time.
Yeah, thanks. Sometimes I just don't follow stupid shit.
There is a large group of people who believed that Nelson Mandela died in 1994 in prison. They're convinced that they saw on TV a funeral procession and a big announcement on CNN and people mourning around the world. They believe that Nelson Mandela, who went on to be the president of South Africa for several years after getting out of prison.
Yeah.
They're convinced that he died in 1994. And so this invented the Mandela Effect, where apparently the universe corrected somewhere, like somebody got into the Matrix and changed things around to let Mandela live. And but there's still some of us who retained the memory of his funeral. And we're the ones who can, we're the keepers of real history.
Wow.
Nelson Mandela actually died in 1994, but then somebody went back in time and changed everything. And that's how we know time travel exists.
Okay, maybe I do like Umbrella Academy season 4.
Somebody went back in time and changed your mind.
Yeah. I mean, because that is exactly one of the things that one of the characters is really dealing with in that, and that, well, actually all of them in a way, because the timelines shifted, but it just was a sucky season. So. But I mean now, but now I see.
Had you gone into that with the knowledge of the Mandela Effect, you might have liked it.
And maybe I would have been able to explain it to myself better, because Steve Blackman sure as shit didn't. So, sorry, I'm never going to apologize for my hatred, my white hot hatred for Steve Blackman. But that's fascinating, because Nelson. Okay, so that kind of makes sense. There was another one. Was it another death where you and I were like, no, but they died forever ago? It was another. It wasn't Nelson Mandela. It was somebody else.
Yeah, it happens to me all the time.
Yeah,
actually. Yeah.
and we're like, wait
that
a
guy
second.
died years ago.
Right.
Like James Caan, I think I had recently. James Caan's been dead since the late 90s. No, he wasn't. No. He was alive. He might still be alive for all I know.
Oh my God.
James Caan
I better check. Is James Caan dead?
I do this all the time.
I do too.
Please don't be offended, actors of the world. I just, sometimes you're out of the spotlight for a while, and I just forget that you're there.
He died in 2022, so it was fairly recent that one passed on. Wow. That's fascinating. I want to know more about that.
You want to know more about the Mandela Effect?
Yeah.
You know, there's somebody who's writing that you read, or supposedly, allegedly, you read somebody's writing pretty regularly.
Yeah.
Who wrote a very popular, almost borderline viral post about the Mandela Effect. But, whatever.
You did?
Yeah, that would be me.
Wait, when did you do that?
2018.
I was really busy that year. I was really drunk that year too.
So thanks for that. Thanks for paying attention to my writing.
Don't be mad.
Great.
Don't be mad. I'm reading it right now. No, I'm not. I'm reading somebody else's article about it. Is it Sex and the City or Sex in the City?
That's a Mandela Effect.
Okay. But it was Sex in the City, wasn't it?
I don't know. It's Sex and the City.
God! And I liked that show. I don't know why I liked that show. I was stupid, but fuck that show is what I have to say. Oh my God, Luke, I'm your father. Yeah, he never actually said that. He never actually said that.
Yeah, he said, no, I am your father.
Luke, I am your father.
But if you just said, no, I am your father, are you going to get the reference, or are you going to say, Luke, I am your father, and then everybody understands you're talking about Luke Skywalker?
That's a good point. Well, then again, I just saw this too, the Snow White thing, magic mirror on the wall. We always thought it was mirror, mirror.
Yeah.
Wow.
But maybe it was. And then somebody went back in time and changed it.
Can somebody go back in time and knock out Donald Trump?
Just shoot him in the head in 1966.
Put him in a coma and then have him wake up at the end of his life. That people are listening. We're going to go on several watch lists again.
There is no such thing as time travel, so it's not a real threat.
That's true. That's a good point.
Now, if time travel were real, it would be an absolute threat.
Yeah.
You would definitely need to arrest me for that one if time travel were real. Because I'm the first one in that time machine. So several of us just beating each other over the head trying to get to that time machine.
Oh my god. Oh, now I'm finding the Shazam Kazam thing.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Mickey Mouse's suspenders were not there. He never had suspenders. Sally Field's Oscar speech, you like me, you really like me? Except what she actually said was, I can't deny the fact that you like me right now. You like me. That's true.
But Jim Carrey did that did mimicked her in Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
And suddenly it
changed the whole, yeah.
So there's another interesting Ace Ventura fact related to this movie.
To Houseguest?
To Houseguest.
How?
So, according to Sinbad, this is his story. I don't think anybody's ever confirmed this. Sinbad claims that about the time that they were casting Ace Ventura, he got a copy of the script and went in to read for Ace Ventura.
Fuck off.
He claims that he went into the audition and read the Ace Ventura part and didn't get the role. And that eventually went to Jim Carrey. And at the end of he says that he buttons this story by saying, actually, we asked you to read for that part that Tone Loc actually got. They wanted him to read for the police officer that eventually went to Tone Loc, because they were always going to cast a black actor for that.
He thought he was going to be Ace Ventura.
He thought for sure. He nailed that audition.
No. Sinbad saying, alrighty then.
That's the mask. You're having your Mandela Effect right now.
I am. Well, I mean, let's face it. As much as I love Jim Carrey, looking back, I will put all of those movies together.
Just run together,
They just run together.
What did Jim Carrey say in Ace Ventura or Cable Guy?
Yeah.
Or, like,
Cable
the
Guy,
Mask.
Like, Cable Guy is a little bit different because that's one of those movies that people are like, oh, it was horrible. And it actually wasn't. It was kind of cool. It was kind of dark. I know, but that is the truth. And actually, it had a pretty decent cast. And
it would have had a better cast if Carrey had taken that role.
Well, that's true.
Just saying. There are other people who are going to play that role, and that they wanted to play that role, and nope, Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. Well, I think at that point, though, too, like, for me, my Jim Carrey love didn't happen until Man on the Moon. Mm-hmm. That's where I was like, okay, he was fantastic.
At the point where he just snapped and became a completely different...
Well, I mean, yeah. Then you give us, like, The Truman Show and shit like that. Those are really good, solid movies.
Yeah.
You know? And he became, I think, a better actor, a better person.
Once he went completely insane.
You all have to go insane to get to a good, like, sorry.
Hey, the fact of the matter is, the Beatles made better music on LSD than they did without it.
Yeah.
Fact. Sorry. Drugs made things better. just true. That's just true.
Bill Hicks said that.
I'm stealing from Hicks. It's true, though.
He's gonna pull
Jimi Hendrix? I'm sorry. Heroin? He's Jimi Hendrix?
Yeah. I was thinking of Bill's bit where he's like, he's got the microphone stand trying to get Ringo off the ceiling. Ringo, get down here. We gotta record, man. Oh, I hope it was Ringo. I'm pretty sure it was Ringo. It's been a while since I listened to that one.
Yeah, it was Ringo.
Yeah. Well, okay, so movie for next week.
Oh, let's first of all, let's cap Houseguest here by saying it was a huge hit for the time, and I'm not joking about that.
Modest hit.
$26 million would be like over $60 million today, which is, if Sinbad started a movie that successful, people would talk about it.
That's wild.
So it was successful. It did make $26 million against a $10 million budget.
Critics fucking hated it.
Critics did hate it. It still does not have many, if any, good reviews.
No.
At all.
At all.
What was that? I got the Rotten Tomatoes score here. It's
17%, wasn't it?
18%.
18. God, I was so close.
5.9%. 5.9 out of 10 on IMDb. Yeah.
Wow. It's not good, and the fact that we can say that.
The week it came out, the first week of January was the first. It was the first movie that came out in the month of January, alongside another movie called Safe Passage with Susan Sarandon, which did not get a lot of attention. Didn't in fact even make the top 20 at the box office that week. Houseguest finished number 3 overall for the opening weekend, took in over $5.8 million. Can you name the 2 movies that we've talked about on this show that were ahead of Houseguest that weekend in 1995?
Dumb and Dumber.
That was number 1.
And Disclosure.
Yes.
Oh, was it Disclosure? Really?
Yes, it was Disclosure.
Disclosure.
Nell finished 5th overall that weekend.
Nell. I keep forgetting we did Nell.
How do you forget Tay in the win?
Oh, because there's just so much of that movie that I'll find myself thinking about throughout the day, and I don't want to think about that movie. No. I don't know. I just don't. I don't.
This is what 1995 has done to us.
Yeah. 1994. Now we're 1995.
So you, and I know you're getting to the next week's movie, but
trying.
You had seen somebody say, you saw a headline or something, and somebody said the 1994 is the best year of movies ever.
Yeah.
This person watched 2 movies in 1994.
They have no idea. Of course, they're saying Speed. That was even like the picture.
Yeah. Pulp Fiction, Shawshank,
and they're like, this 1994 may well have been the greatest year for film, and then you and I are like, what?
Us over here having done the actual work.
We're doing the work.
We did the actual work of watching the movies of 1994, and we can tell you, no, this year sucked so bad that prior to the show, we were talking about Children of the Corn and what a better time that was.
Like, give us that over Blank Man any day. Are you fucking kidding me?
Children of the Corn 666 was like terrible. It was an awful film, but it was so much fun to laugh at. It was so inept and just so pure in its ineptitude that it becomes a joy to watch. And there's just been no joy from Mrs. Doubtfire to The Remains of the Day to just about everything we watched in 1994 that wasn't Pulp Fiction, Shawshank, or Speed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even Disclosure, we'll put that one in there as a good movie. Dumb and Dumber, at least, is kind of funny and weird.
Yeah.
Everything else is pure goddamn trash.
Garbage, just absolute garbage.
I mean, if this person actually wants to have this conversation, they need to understand what it is that they're talking about. And I'm just going to run down a few of the highlights of our 1994 before we wrap this up.
Okay.
Because we had so many wonderful fucking highlights this year, Amy. You remember House Party 3.
Oh, God.
You remember Intersection. Who doesn't talk about Intersection
Not
today?
enough, that's for sure.
How about Car 54, Where Are You?
Oh, God. Did we even get through that one?
I think we did. How about I'll Do Anything?
How about it?
Yeah, great fucking movie. God. How about Blank Check? Remember Blank Check?
Yeah, when that creepy old woman gave the young boy a kiss.
Yeah, it said, look me up in 10 years when you're old enough.
Oh my God.
Fucking Reality Bites. Fuck off.
Fuck off, I still don't.
Fuck off.
You're wrong.
8 Seconds with Luke Perry.
Oh my God.
No. The Ref? Nope.
Oh.
Nope. Lightning Jack. Fucking Lightning Jack came out this year.
Calendar Girls.
The Paper.
Oh my God, The Paper. I wanted to like The Paper so
Everybody
much.
wanted to like The Paper. It's not good.
It's not
a good movie. It's better than Threesome.
It is.
Fucking Threesome came out in 1994.
That's not hard to be better than, though.
How about Cops and Robertsons?
Oh my God. We'll never get that time back. Okay,
now, we can find one more good movie from this year. 4 Weddings and a Funeral, fine.
Oh,
I'll give you 4 Weddings and a Funeral.
Absolutely.
But Brain Scan came out this year.
Brain Scan.
Fucking Brain Scan came out this year.
God, that movie.
Okay, one more good one. Okay. One last good one. The Crow.
Yes, absolutely. 100% The Crow.
Fine, I'll give you The Crow. But I have, on my side of this argument that 1994 sucks, Beverly Hills Cop 3 and Renaissance Man. So fuck you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, those are things that... North. Fucking North happened this year.
1994 was arguably the best year for movies.
That's when North came out.
Remember when North came out?
Remember Color of Night?
I mean, we do, because Bruce Willis's penis.
remember Pauly Shore in the Army Now?
Oh my God.
Blank Man?
Blank Man.
Wagons East. That's another great movie.
That's right.
Fucking Milk Money.
We sat through that.
A Good Man in Africa. Our lost episode.
Do you... Oh my god, that movie. I forgot about that until you said that movie. And we watched it right here in this living room. Oh my god.
Terminal Velocity came out in 1994.
Starring that redheaded kid at the end of the movie. Right? I know I'm right.
All right, at least we got Time Cop out of this year. So
We
that's,
did, Time Cop, yeah.
top flight Time Cop.
That's true.
But then we also had The Scout.
Who was in The Scout?
The Scout was Brendan Fraser as a baseball pitcher.
Oh.
Remember all those King Kong references that made no sense?
He was so cute, though. I loved his hair. Was that Albert Brooks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only You. How much did Only You suck? God damn it.
That was so bad. It was so
awful.
bad.
It was an awful movie. Is it all Road to Wellville?
Oh, that
God.
disjointed piece of tripe.
Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. That's a scar that will not soon heal.
It's so weird because I met a guy who looks exactly like Kenneth Branagh from that movie. And I'm like, I can't decide if I'm disgusted or if I'm really attracted to him. Like, I don't know.
Junior. That fucking nightmare baby in Junior.
I'm gonna have to post it. Yeah, like, okay, so I actually got the Facebook updated, by the way. Finally. And
fucking no.
And fucking... But I need to put Junior up there.
Yeah.
Is that up on... Or did we lose that? What was it? We lost another episode this year.
No, there was just one.
I thought we lost one.
No, there was only one that we lost.
A Good Man in Africa was the one that we lost?
Oh, no, wait. There was one where your dog ruined the entire show. No, but we did that the next interview with the vampire. He ruined the first episode, so we went back and did it the next week.
That's right. Thanks a lot, Chewie.
The fucking Santa Claus came out this year.
For 95?
Yeah. Star Trek Generations. That's terrible. That's a terrible fucking movie.
God, we're already getting pissed about 95 and we haven't even started. That's hilarious.
Oh, well, and weirdly, though, 1995 continues in a weird way next week. I'm not sure how this is going to work.
What do you mean?
Tell people what the movie is.
Lady Bird, Lady Bird.
What is Lady Bird, Lady Bird?
It's about a woman who has, she has a bad history, so she loses all of her kids. They go into foster care, and she meets this guy, George, and they kind of hit it off, and it's a story told through flashbacks and stuff like that. But eventually, like, we see her life, like, she's trying to do better. She wants to see her children, that whole thing. It's an independent film. It won several awards that year.
Directed by Ken Loach.
Right, and it was either that or Higher Learning, and I don't want to do Higher Learning. I absolutely don't. I want to watch something... I think after the last several weeks of us watching pure shit, I would like to see a good movie. And this one had some really great reviews, and I'm very fascinated by it. So.
I am a little upset with you over this, though, that you would pass up Demon Knight in favor of this. It's really... It's sad for me.
Is that Eddie Murphy?
Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight.
Yeah, I don't...
With Billy Zane. But sure, let's watch the Ken Loach movie.
Fuck you. I'm trying to bring a little class and a little taste to this fucking podcast.
Fine.
Yeah, there it is.
Join us for Lady Bird, Lady Bird next week.
You say it with disgust.